As an entrepreneur, first of all, growing wealth is not to lose money. Don't lose money. So in order to grow it, you've got to have an extremely good proposition out there that hopefully is accruing money rather than actually losing it. So most wealth people will tell you that preservation of money becomes of utter importance. And literally most of the high net worth clients or people that have started from entrepreneurship into wealth, managing wealth, have actually treated it as a very precious resource once they have it. In fact, I think Warren Buffett said, and then the second rule is, remember rule number one, don't lose it again. Don't lose it. Yeah, don't lose money. I think another thing, once we move from entrepreneurship, because I think it's a journey. So you start as an entrepreneur, and you start to create jobs, money, etc., and then you get into wealth. And I think thereafter is to diversify. I think it's quite important to diversify, but still remain very focused. So become obsessed with what you do, even though you've diversified it. So become good at it. Right? Do the 10,000 hours, as they usually say. And I think from a family perspective, importantly is to get buy-in from everybody as to why now we've moved from running the business, creating the initial business and wealth, to starting to manage it, and start to have plans around what's the future of the funds, the wealth that we are creating, where are we going, and get buy-in. And I think most entrepreneurs that we have come across, and even we fall guilty of that, is creating the beast and then not understanding the power of what the collective wealth in there can do. The first thing is not to visualize the whole vision. I call it visualizing the whole vision. Make sure that this business, which may start as a lifestyle business to create sustenance for families, etc., if it does grow, what happens to it beyond yourself, right? And see it in its various stages of growth. And hopefully, if we are getting to the wealth side, is to ensure that there is good succession planning within it. I think we fail to do that. I think we fail to see these businesses beyond ourselves, or even our children. And with that, then we come back to what are we doing this for? So I think answering those questions and ensuring that you've seen the vision to the end, and the end being that you've made this wealth and you want to keep it, as we've just mentioned, is quite critical. The other thing is that as entrepreneurs, we don't focus on keeping these businesses healthy. When I mean that is just like your home, you clean your home, right? You don't sleep in a dirty bed. You change the linen. Your bathroom is clean, etc. Your company has to be clean. So as businessmen, we tend to create these great companies with very poor compliance in them, and that poor compliance leads again to the lack of the ability to actually hand them down, pass them over, sell them, and create the actual wealth that we've been doing for so long. And I think that's a very critical point. And one of the things that I said earlier, which is you've got to create this business. There has to be an end game in terms of the value and compliance, whether it's legal, tax, structure. What is your strategy towards the end? And it doesn't mean that you have to sell it, but even if you are not, you have to build it in that kind of a way. So I think also Put differently, we sometimes create great products and not great businesses. I don't know that there's any businessman who would ever say that enough is enough. I think others view you and form an opinion about what is successful or not, based on what you've grown and what you've managed to achieve. I think, and there are very many successful businesses that have gone through a downward spiral and come back up. And therefore, it all depends on sector, growth prospects, what the expansion is. I can tell you, in certain businesses where the entrepreneur just wants to have a very comfortable lifestyle, etc., that's success, in my view. Where the entrepreneur is hungry and doesn't see partners or new equity providers in it, it may then become slightly bigger than that vision of being what I call a lifestyle business. And therefore, the measure of success is very different. There are 2 points. If it's not working, you probably want to change the strategies and see what else is connected to what you're doing and see whether you should diversify. But also, when it is working, and you want to see a little bit further, or you have a vision to see a little bit further and to pay attention to what's happening around you, it might be important to begin that diversification strategy. I take the banks for an example. Although limited by what they can do from a legal perspective and the Banking Act, etc., I think that their diversification and movement of their products into more the mobile banking space and what's possible will probably be what will make the difference in the end. And you'll have seen that diversification in some of the larger banks, where now their customer bases are bigger in 3 to 4 years than they were in 30 years of their existence. That's the diversification. So I think technology will necessitate certain industries just diversify in terms of how they look at what their business is and what their core business is. So one, I think, is if you're not doing very well, and then the other is also if you are doing very well, that you can do it. Bring it back to home. If you're a family business, I think that de-risking and investing in other sectors, of course, that you understand, helps to a very large extent keep and sustain the wealth. Remember what we said, don't lose money. Yeah. So I'm very keen, I'm biased towards the financial side, but over the years we have been in the corporate finance and helping people buy and sell businesses. One thing stands out to me is management, is owners and management. How is this company run, and what are their core beliefs? Is there hunger in the business? Can I look that person in the eye and see vision to execution? I don't know how many percent of businesses fail between that. Execution is extremely difficult. And do these people have the hunger to be able to execute what they're saying? Because if you're investing in a business, you are actually investing in it for growth. And so execution towards that path of growth becomes very important. And that all ties down to, we invest in people who have created products that have created a great business. But at the end of the day is can you back the management, and can the management achieve what they're doing? And a lot of where propositions fall apart is the lack, the inability to connect the 2 or 3 points there, or the need to go and continue to do some research before they actually raise the capital. And sometimes we see customers and clients, and we actually advise them that they're not actually ready, and that we should actually do some more research before going out to look for capital. Because in front of a capital provider, I believe you only have one chance. And you either nail it or you don't. With entrepreneurship beyond tomorrow, I think one is even traditional businesses, as I see it, and I'm not a techie, but I see the most successful businesses now are using technology to disrupt, and to disrupt value chains, to disrupt the way people interact with clients is the easy one, but also to disrupt value chains, to ease delivery, to cut out the middlemen and the old ways of doing things. We're blessed here in Kenya that we have a very innovative culture. I do think that those who combine that with I call it housekeeping and house cleaning, and ensuring that they're not just building great products, but they're building great businesses, will outlast the rest. That's how you will stay in the game, which is you build a collective value in the whole proposition. And that's where I see the entrepreneurs. We've seen a lot of entrepreneurs with great applications, perhaps even great execution. But when you start to ask them about, right, give me a management structure, show me who you rely on a day-to-day to deliver to 5,000 clients, etc., it's not in place. And I can understand that when we're building and getting clients and building the revenues of a business, etc., this might not be a priority. But in the back of their minds, I tell these entrepreneurs to always keep a very, 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 very clear picture about how they're going to create that backbone. Otherwise, those companies don't survive, and they don't sustain the value.